Saludos and salutations, Broncos Country, and welcome back into another exciting episode of Broncos Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, Libre and I are so excited to be with you guys here tonight. In case you haven't heard or you've been living under a rock, rookie training camp has officially gone underway. I know right now your little notification button is probably going off and saying, oh my God, we're live. I better get on. You better make sure. So you guys better make sure you're comfortable. Make sure your beer is cold, your food is warm, because you don't want to miss a single episode or second of today's episode. And I know I said episode twice, but you know what? I talked to Johnny, and Johnny's told me that I can pretty much say whatever I want. I mean, it's my show, right? I can pretty much do whatever I want. So if I want to sit here and delay you guys and make this intro a whole lot longer than it has to be and not bring on Bronco Libre. Hell, I don't even have to bring in Bronco Libre, because yes, he's the star of the show, but you know what? Who freaking cares, okay? And let me tell you something else. While I got... And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adan Diaz, and joining me, as always, on my left or right, depending on which direction of vision you're watching, is my co-host, Bronco Libre. Libre, how you doing tonight, my friend?
What's happening? Let's go! The Broncos rookies have officially reported to training camp at the Valley. Something I'm super excited for. So this is the beginning of football season where we're going to have content consistently. This is the best part right now, the beginning. Let's go.
Libre, who keeps pushing, who keeps cutting off my intros, man? Like, I was on such a roll, bro. How dare you interrupt me?
It wasn't me. I'm going to let you know, because I don't have control buttons over here. I think it has to be Johnny Baki that's doing all that shenanigans out there.
Johnny Baki, the man, he's holding me back. I mean, I was literally pouring my heart out to Broncos Country, Libre, and then just like that, cuts me off.
It was gone. I know. I was so intense and right into it as well. And I was like, dang, the intro, what the heck happened? I was like, Johnny Baki did it.
Johnny Baki did it. Blame Johnny Baki. So, yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. As always, we got a couple of things we got to get out of the way before we start today's show. If this is your first time here, welcome. If not, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, Libre and I would like to start off by asking you first to please show your love for us here on the Orange and Blue Network, where we are televising from. I know that's not a word. I don't care. Please subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all the shows that are here on the network. Also, we are also on MHRT Network. So please make sure you subscribe, share, comment, and like us there as well. Doesn't matter which one you watch us from, ladies and gentlemen. We are one big happy family, just like the song. So if there's something that we didn't get to that you wanted to ask us, whatever's on your mind, please feel free to drop a comment and your like. Also, just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, that officially today, this is the very first show of Broncos Talk on both networks that is being powered by the Broncos World Order. So we would like to say hello to all of our viewers out there in the Broncos World Order. Welcome to Broncos Country. Welcome to Broncos Talk. Welcome to the family. We are so happy that you're able to be here with us. And we hope to be able to entertain you for many, many years to come. That or until Johnny fires me, whichever one happens first. Also, shout out to our audience over on TikTok. I already see 1 or 2 people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. And again, same thing. Like the live. I always appreciate it. If you have any questions for us, always down and happy to answer them for you to the best of our abilities. To our audience listening to us in the audio fact version, please make sure you give us 5-star reviews. Always appreciated. If you like the show, you can screenshot it if you want and send it a picture to either one of our socials, and we will gladly shout you out, guys, here on the network. And in case you don't have our socials, our Twitter handles are right there at the bottom of the screen. Mine is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. Also, we would like to say, because words are hard, we would like to say thank you to our sponsor of today's show and for every single show, Dubby. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know, it is your taste buds' favorite drink. As Libre and I like to say around here, it is all the good stuff without all the bad. So basically, it was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the Pandid Neurofactor formula. It's basically no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors. And to show you guys just how awesome we are around here, or they are in Broncos country, Johnny Bach and the guys over at the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast, which airs every single Tuesday here on both networks, would like to give you guys 10% off when you get your order ready for checkout at checkout. So make sure you use the code NRWOB10 to get your 10% off at checkout with all your favorite Dubby products. Shout out to the guys over at the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue show for the 10% hookup, and shout out to Dubby for that 10% discount. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we like to go over the show schedule with you in case you have any questions about what the season is going to look like this season. So basically, we have the Orange and Blue Blitz, which airs every single Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. with Isaiah Bronco Gentleman Henderson. He's like Johnny, but cooler. And then we also have Broncos Bros, which has been off to an amazing start every single Monday at 7 p.m. We have the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue show on Tuesdays at 7. Of course, Broncos Talk, Wednesdays at 6. We have Viva Los Broncos, which is the all-Spanish show, Fridays at 6 p.m. And also, when there's any breaking news in Broncos country, the Fresh Squeeze will go on the air. Also, ladies and gentlemen, when the season does kick off, please make sure you have your notifications on, because we will be going live every single game day 1 hour before Broncos kickoff for the Get Bucked pregame show. And then, of course, regardless of what the result is, at the end, right after the game's ends, we have the Buck Your Feelings post-game show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm working on Johnny Baki to let me at least swear 3 or 4 times, because I feel that this season, Libre, I'm going to need to.
Of course, and it happens every year.
And I think that's it. But Libre, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Oh no, I was just saying that it's always you're always going to have to throw some type of words out there. But it's going to be part of every season. You know, we don't want to start off the season that way, but again, it's going to happen. It's going to be there. And that's why they always have that 5-second delay where we can try to do that, but you never know what could happen.
Of course. And we already got some comments here, Libre. Of course, Broncos World Order already off to a fantastic start. Make sure you subscribe now to them on Facebook. Shout out to them. And we cannot wait to kick off this season with everybody in the Broncos World Order. Also, we got Shy Vargas saying, I'm getting so excited for this season. Shy, thank you so much for being here.
Sir, Shy.
Salute to you, my friend. We appreciate your support. So Libre and I were talking backstage before the start of the show, because that's what Libre and I do. We're like two chismosas. All we do is gossip.
Gossip all the time.
You know, we were talking about the weather. We were talking about what were we talking about else? Stuff. But basically, Libre was at Denver Broncos headquarters. Is that correct, Libre? Because I saw you uploaded a picture.
Well, what I did was I posted what the Broncos actually posted.
Oh, I thought that was yours. I'm sorry.
No, that wasn't mine. I wish it was, but what's nice about what they're doing right now is that they're actually doing a whole renovation. there at the training facility right now. So if you've ever been to the training camp itself, you know that when you get there, you're sitting up on the hill, and there's a hill, and you're on that hill, and you're just sitting in grass the whole time. So this year, what they did is that they went in there and they are redoing everything there. It's just not. It's like putting together all of this experience for the fans now that we get out there going forward. So that hill now is gone. So so it's going to be like some type of little plaza. I think they're going to have like a restaurant in there as well. They're going to have, I think, a bigger area for the team store. So it's just a whole little now area that they're putting together. And part of the pictures that I showed and I resent out is that showing of them continuing to build that, and it's still being built out. But because the hill is now gone, and that's where typically all the fans go out there and sit to actually view the team practice and do all that. Now, what's right behind the players' families and media where they are staged at, so they put up stands that are out there. So they are inviting 800 people per practice to attend the game, to actually view the practice itself. So because of that, like a lot of people that normally would go to training camp are now missing out because they limited just to the 800. So a lot of fans like that are not able to actually go to a Bronco game. This is what they go to be part of the team, to see the team itself and whatnot. So in that aspect, like it does suck. The Broncos did also report that more tickets will be released. Just keep on the lookout. Go on Ticketmaster.com. Check to see about the tickets are free, so you don't have to worry about that. Just get on there. Continue to refresh every day. Just refresh, because I was fortunate enough to get I got 2 days because that's what they only allowed me to do. So I'm going to be going on the 25th. So whenever, if I'm not able to use, because I got all 4 tickets that were allowable for me. If I'm unable to use all 4 tickets, I can release, say, 2 of those tickets back to the population, and they will automatically pop up for anyone to grab. So that's why I always say, go on there daily, go and check it out. And if you're able to grab it, please do, because if you've never been, this is a great experience to go out there to see the team. And if you're actually a football person, if you love just the game of football itself, being able to watch the practice, you appreciate what these guys are doing during practice. And that's what I love about this game too. Is like, that's what I do, because I am a coach as well. And I also, I just love the game itself. So I articulate it a little bit differently than most people. And I was actually talking to one of my buddies about training camp, and I view training camp way different than I'm viewing, like, seeing the big plays, the catches, Bo Nix getting the pass down the field, getting the proper reads or whatever. I'm actually looking at the line. I'm looking to make sure that they have their steps in. Are they doing the proper setbacks? Or, that's what I'm doing. That's both offense and defensive line. And because our offense can't work without those guys in the trenches. So I actually just posted on TikTok some pictures of the guys on of the offense and defensive line. These guys are in the trenches. It starts with them. Like, first and foremost, it starts with them. Everything else is spectacular. Everyone wants to see that, but you know what? It starts there, but I see it differently. But yeah, going back to it, the training camp facility itself is a great opportunity to actually meet players, get autographs, be able to talk to them, especially with a lot of people that are not able to actually go to a game. This is like a perfect opportunity. But if you guys are here and you are listening, and if you will be at the practice on the 25th, come by and say hi. I'll have my mask on. I'll be Bronco Libre, be out there and about. So come by and say hi.
Hi, Libre.
Oh, hi. How are you doing?
I was the first one.
There you go.
Libre, but as great as that is, we have to talk about the news that's really all over Broncos country right now. And that's the signing of Jahdae Barron. Now, you and I, we were talking about how close these signings have gotten over the last couple of years, because, to be honest with you, Libre, I don't ever remember there being so much, I don't know if drama is the right word for this, but talk about rookie signings, Maybe it did happen behind closed doors. It wasn't that popular with the public per se, but I don't ever remember it where certain rookies were holding out. We were talking about the prospect from Cleveland, who's possibly not even. There's a good chance he won't suit up as a Brown, and he'll probably end up going back to college to play for another year and then re-enter the draft in 2026. So I'm glad that the Broncos got a deal done with Jahdae Barron. Now, I'm not the best at salary cap or cap space per se because I hate numbers. Math gives me a headache. But I do think that the investment that the Broncos have made in Jahdae Barron kind of lets them know that they're all in on their pick. And I'm hoping, Libre, that by this point in the season, we can kind of put that animosity that some people have towards him to rest. Because we all know how split we were when Barron's name was called, and a lot of people were expecting a running back, and they obviously went cornerback. Now, I'm still standing on that hill, Libre, where I say that Barron was the perfect pick, the correct pick, because his style of game is going to complement the cornerback room very, very well. And it literally eliminates the notion that even if one of our cornerbacks does go down, that Jahdae Barron will be there to help pick up the slack, whether he's opposite of Riley, what's his name? Shoot, I was gonna say Riley, Paxton Tan, or right. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like because they don't have the money right, especially the guy from the Browns, like he's like one of their top picks. And he feels like if he can go back to college, because from the reports that I've been reading or seeing, is that he's been working out there back in College Station, back in Texas. So if he really feels like, and I think it's really the situation that he really didn't want to play for the Browns. It goes back to Eli Manning, not wanting to play for the San Diego Chargers at the time. And he basically said, like, if you draft me, I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to play. Back in the day, that was different. So what ended up happening is that the Giants at that time, drafted Phillip Rivers, and they just did a same-day draft pick, for one. And it's just like, and I feel like that it goes back to the John Elway era as well, when John Elway told the Baltimore Colts at that time, saying, hey, I don't want to play for you. Don't draft me. Don't do that. And they still did that. They still drafted him. But Elway's situation was different because he could have went out and played baseball. He was drafted by the Yankees, so he could have been playing baseball instead of being Hall of Fame quarterback for the Broncos itself. But just glad that it worked out in our favor, the way that it got set up and whatnot. But going back to these guys now, especially with these second rounders, right now, like all these second rounders are wanting a guaranteed contract. I get it. They want to go after that money because right now and it's been like this for a while too, the average NFL lifespan for a player is 3.5 years. So you have to think that when these rookies are signing this contract right now, they're coming in and signing these contracts and knowing that this may be their only contract they actually get here in the league. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to protect themselves. And I get it. They want to make sure that their family's taken care of and whatnot, and they want to make sure that this money is all guaranteed. So it's just strange that how this has been set up for these second rounders. Because these first rounders, like a lot of them's going to go past that 3.5 years. There's going to be a good percentage that's not. I'll say probably about 40% may not get to that area, but you're going to see these guys get past that 3.5 year. But I feel like as well, like, and I feel like I'm a family man as well, and I want to make sure that my family's also taken care of, and I'm going to do what's going to be best for me. So it's like a catch-22. Like you want them to say, like, you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a game, but they're also a lot of these guys are treating it as a job. It's like, I'm earning a paycheck, I'm going out there doing a job, and I'm clocking in, clocking out, and then I'm done. So me personally, I feel like I'm still in the middle. I'm not for it. I'm not against it, but I understand both sides of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have an issue with it either, Libre. I think it's fine. If it was any other team or any other tight cap space, then I might be a little bit worried. But knowing that we have the owners that we have and the money that they command, to them, this is like a drop in the hat. Yes, it's not their money. It's NFL cap space money and all that before you guys come and get on my case about it. That's totally fine. But at the end of the day, the Broncos, I don't think, would have given somebody that type of contract without knowing that they're going to have a top-tier talent. Okay? And I know on the other side of that coin, it's always a risk because we said the same thing about Russell Wilson. So, but Russell Wilson coming in already with time, with experience, versus Jahdae Barron coming in as a little rookie are two very different things. Okay. But again, just the type, if his tape didn't impress you, then I don't know what else to tell you to convince you, Libre. That's all I'm going to say. And he's coming into a system with Vance Joseph. And we already know that Vance Joseph's strength is more as a defensive coordinator than it is as a head coach. Let's keep it 100. Okay. Oh, yeah. So I am excited to see how it's going to look like when he finally puts on those pads and he finally gets to hit somebody, because I have a feeling that man is going to bring the boom to that secondary that, man, we sorely have missed and we haven't seen for a long time. But RJ Harvey is also a name to watch out for in training camp, Libre, because the running game is also going to be a very, very essential part for a successful season for the Broncos in 2025. So how do you think RJ Harvey is going to come into this training camp season?
So right now, RJ Harvey is currently unsigned, just because of what we're talking about. Yeah. So I'm hoping that he actually is there at the facility right now as showing good faith that they are going to come to a deal. And I hope that he's there, even if he's there just to stay on the sideline without his deal yet, but to be able to be part of the team and seeing what's happening, being able to get those plays, at least getting the plays out there. Because this is the most important part for him or any rookie on the team or on any teams. This first week is very important when they report to camp, because they have all the rookies to themselves. They're there to get to learn the system, learn what each team is trying to do for them. And before the veterans get there, before work is actually being implemented, the game plans are starting to go in, like the personnels and all that. So this time right now is very important, especially for these rookies coming into the league. And if they're not there, you're just hurting yourself if you don't show up. So my hope is that RJ Harvey is there in Inglewood right now or in Centennial and getting in there and being able to see. Hopefully we're seeing this and we're talking next week that, you know what, we're just a day early on our live and he signs tomorrow before he actually goes out on practice. Just like what Jahdae Barron did today. I know that all the rookies reported to the camp today. It's just to get all the paperwork, and Barron just signed his contract today. So what I like about it, it's a 4-year contract with a fifth option, team option for the 5th year. And it has to be exercised by after year 3. So if that's going to be, and that's actually a good contract. And I think it's the rookie deal, and it's going to be, if he performs, trust me, that second contract that he's going to get from the Broncos is going to get him paid. And I can actually see that happening for him already because of the way this defense is and how elite it is. It's going to be a guaranteed. So it's going to be there. I just hope that RJ Harvey does show up, is there in the house, being able to see what's happening.
I can't wait to see him play because the eyes on him, Omarion Hampton, and what's his name? Genty. Thank you, Ashton Genty. Their names are going to be all over the place this season. You can guarantee it. Whether they're playing their best,
in our division.
Yeah, and not just because they're in our division either, Libre, but just for the simple fact that all eyes are going to be on them because they're going to start talking about, who's up for being a rookie offensive player of the year. Is it going to be a quarterback? Is it going to be a running back, wide receiver, defensive player? I mean, the Broncos have from 3 choices, to be honest with you. It could be RJ Harvey, it could be Jahdae Barron, or it could be Pat Bryant if he, comes out and has a fantastic season. But for me, the only thing, if I was RJ Harvey, is I would try to work out something as quick as possible and get out on that field, because J.K. Dobbins, he's already signed and he's going to be at training camp when it's time for him to be there. So they're going to be splitting reps, and that offense needs to hit the ground running, Libre, basically. And if RJ Harvey remains unsigned and he does not show up for camp and he's holding out for more money, that's detrimental to the team.
Agreed.
And that cannot happen. Anything and everything the Broncos have to do or can do or need to do to get a winning season on track again, they can't take any chances. Whatever needs to be done. And I can't stress that enough. There's something there with RJ Harvey. That's why I trust George Payton, okay, to make things simpler or easier. Fanatic Dak jumping in here, Libre, saying, "What's up, fellas?
What's happening?
What's happening, Fanatic Dak? One half of the Broncos Bros. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it Dak that was with Johnny on Nothing Rhymes With last night?
No, that was George.
Oh, that was George. Okay. I wanted to make sure I got it right. I don't know why I thought it was Dak. I mean, that's the great thing about being Johnny Baki, Libre, is you can literally call up anybody on the network and then he can have you a spot on the show like that.
I think he strong-armed him. He's like, "Hey, you need to be on the show right now. Let's go."
Yeah, pretty much.
If you want to keep your job and your show, you're going to come on right now. No, just kidding, Johnny.
Pretty much. I was expecting that text like, "Hey, you, me, tonight. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Let's do this." But, ladies and gentlemen, again, Pat Bryant, I didn't hear any news about him, Libre, in terms of him being there at camp. Do you know anything if he was actually at camp today?
That's what I was trying to look at after today, because I know they had a report today. I think today was just making sure that everyone shows up and are available and ready to go for tomorrow. Just to maybe do some paperwork, do all that, just some of the logistics behind the scenes stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was looking right before the show too, is like there was no media coverage. There was no information about any type of players if they were in the house. The only one that we saw that was truly in the house was Barron, because he signed his contract today. That was it. All the other rookies, there was no information unless it's been released here in the last 28 minutes. And I haven't seen a notification yet. But as of right now, I can just assume that they're all there. They're ready to go. And they will be warming up, doing some practices tomorrow. And we'll probably have a little bit more information tomorrow on who's there, who's not there, and whatnot.
Is Steve Atwater going to do the whole hosting at training camp again, Libre? Do you know?
I think so. Him and Elisa Hernandez. If you ever want to see their show, they do a podcast as well. That's linked on their on the DenverBroncos.com website, and they do such a great job. I love watching those guys. If you see some of my TikToks, I have some of their videos that I've posted as well on my TikTok. So definitely something to watch, especially with this upcoming training camp, because they're going to be out there. They're going to be doing a lot of stuff.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to be like, me and Steve Atwater, shared a beer.
So
what
was it? 3 years ago, me and Steve Atwater were hanging out week 1 at a bar in Seattle. I have a picture to prove it too.
I bet you do. Oh, I'm telling you, I feel I'm a lot luckier than I know I am, knowing you, Libre. And I know that me and you meet, and I'm like, hey, can you introduce me to, Von Miller or something? You're going to be like, I've never met Von a day in my life.
But then I'm going to say, well, if Von Miller's still a free agent, trust me, he's probably going to be at Mile High. And I'm going to say, I'll find a way. If there's a will, there's a way.
I'm still trying to make it out for that Cowboys game, Libre. Fingers crossed. Hopefully everything works out and I can make it. I am definitely going to Indianapolis for week 2. That you can count on it because it's only a 3-hour drive. I can make it. I still haven't decided if I want to, sleep in instead of driving back. That's still TBD. But the Cowboys game, I think, is a safe bet for me in terms of, not have to worry about finding a seat or finding a ticket, I should say.
And you're gonna pay for the ticket. That game right now, I've had people really hit me up for that game as well because they think that I get deals and discounts and all that with any ticket.
Bronco Libre.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. They really feel like they go, "Oh, you're Bronco Libre. You're in with the Broncos. You can get all these discounts and all that." Unfortunately, I don't. One thing that I can possibly do is if you're really going to do it, the Broncos they'll be releasing half-price tickets here soon. And you have to live in Colorado in order to actually get the half-price tickets. It's just part of the agreement that the stadium has when they built the stadium back in the late 90s and whatnot, that they have to have at least the minimum, I think, 2,000 tickets for people to be able to purchase at half price. But those tickets go quick as well. So if I can get in there, but typically with those tickets as well, they're not together. So if you're having 2 seats, if you're wanting 2 tickets, they're not going to be together. They're going to be separated because they're just singles out and about throughout the whole stadium. So, but it's something that we can talk about. But that's the only other time I tell people, I go, you have to wait for them to release the half price tickets. But just know that you're not going to be able to sit to the person that you're going to want to go with, especially if you want multiple or 4 or 5 tickets. I'm like, you're not going to sit together. Just so that you're aware, that's not going to happen. You might get lucky with the 2 of you, but not 4 or 5. That you can forget that right away.
D-Rock in the house saying, Adan Libre.
D-Rock, what's happening, Vato Loco?
You have to be really special to get that salute from Bronco Libre, by the way. He just doesn't.
D-Rock already knows.
D-Rock, thank you so much for being here with us, my friend. We appreciate your support. Again, for those that don't know, we are being powered by the Broncos World Order. So you can feel the excitement and the energy in the building today. And if I could scream, I would. But unfortunately, I have neighbors and people that live in this house that don't want to hear me make more noise than I'm probably making in this room.
So
but Libre, going back.
That's when you tell the people that you live with, because I've always had that complaint when I started doing the podcast with you. They're like, man, all I hear you in the background, though, we could just hear you talking about the Broncos doing all that, especially when we're doing Viva los Broncos and all that, and we're going Viva los Broncos, and I'm just going like that way, and like man, we can hear you all the way out here. I'm like, and how was the show? Did you like it?
It was okay.
It was okay. All right, well then how come you didn't like it and share it then? Just go ahead.
Yeah. Help us out that way, man.
Exactly.
Share the show. Even if you don't watch us, just share it. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there that likes us for what we do.
Right?
But going back to the topic at hand, Libre, going back to Jahdae Barron, to be more precise, I think that he may have set the precedent for other unsigned rookies in terms of saying, hey, if Jahdae Barron can get X amount of money, then I can get that type of money. But then again, you can't make that argument because Jahdae Barron was a first-round draft pick. RJ Harvey was a second-round draft pick. And you mentioned it. You have these other players who were like third in some cases or even further back. And they're trying to ask for all this type of money. And it's one of those situations where it's like, you have to know your place. Okay. And if you really feel that you're entitled to more money, then you're going to have to go out there and you get to start at preseason. Most of the vets aren't going to play preseason except for maybe a quarter. So you're going to not only be playing for a starting position, but you got to put tape out there. So at the end of the season, you can go, well, maybe not the end of the season, but at the end of your rookie contract per se, you can go back and say, hey, look, I made this many tackles or this many catches or this many touchdowns. Pay me my money, So, but with guys like Jahdae Barron and those that went before him and those that went a little bit after him in the first round, they kind of have that advantage, So, and Barron, don't get it twisted. He's got to play opposite the defensive player of the year, Libre, PS2. So all eyes are going to be on him if he gets the starting position over Riley Moss. Now, that's going to be a very interesting story in training camp, Libre, is who's going to be cornerback number 2. Is it going to be Riley Moss, hoping that, he's fully healed and he's ready to, show what he can do, basically pick up where he left off before he got injured? Or are they going to give Jahdae Barron more chances on the field, let him get experience and let him develop chemistry with PS2? So it'll be interesting to see how Vance Joseph lines those guys both up and what types of schemes and plays he has them run. What do you think, Libre?
For me, I think that Riley Moss is still going to be opposite of PS2. I think what we did is when we drafted Jahdae Barron is that cornerback that's going to be in the slot position where we were hurting there at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And what is also nice about Barron is that not only is he the perfect spot for us in that slot position itself, he can play all over in that secondary itself, like the strong safety part itself. So that's one thing I feel like why he was like, I'm just so happy that he dropped to us at number 20 and he was available for us because he was one that was considered a top 10, top 15 pick itself. And he was available to us at 20. And that's why, like me, myself, personally, I was like, oh, we have Omari Hampton available. Let's go after Omari and we need a running back. We need that. Not really thinking that Jahdae Barron was going to be there at that position for us, and me overthinking, not just an oversight of it, and not being able to see him there, and just saying, all right, now we're up. Let's get our running back. That's what our real need is. But when the Broncos made that selection, I was like, this is a genius move because he is a top tier talent, and not only does this solidify our defense itself, this with our additions already with Greenlaw, with Tufunga and so forth, adding him just solidified our defense as being the number 1 defense in the league. And I'll say it on paper, they still have to show up on Sundays and prove it, which I feel that with this unit and the way that Sean Payton sets it up, this is going to be the best unit in the whole league and nobody's going to be able to score on us and it's going to be tough. But like going back to Barron himself, I feel like he'll be that slot corner position itself with help going into the nickel position, whatever. He's going to be able to be versatile for us and let Riley Moss be on the outside and PS2 on the other side. So I'm excited for this. But again, if Barron just goes out there and just kills it and it just has a spectacular camp, how could you not deny him being that number 2? And Riley Moss is like, you better step it up in that slot position itself. But again, we have Sean Payton and who we trust, who is going to be in there, making sure that these guys are in the right position to get the best possible results from these guys and making this a championship team again.
D-Rock saying Riley Moss is going to be cornerback number 2, Libre.
Number deuce.
Like
I just said. Me and D-Rock are already on the same page. There we go, boy.
Yeah. Now, if you're asking a hypothetical question, Libre, if you were asking me anyway, who I would put my money on to start cornerback number 2, it would definitely be Riley Moss. Just for the simple fact that he's got more time on the team, obviously, than Jahdae Barron. But I think that Barron, him being a rookie, might hold him back a little bit. he would have to have a hell of a preseason in those first 3 games for him to be made into the conversation or made appointed where it'd be difficult to pick a starter between the two. But at this point in time, I think that Riley Moss holds the advantage. Now, that's not to say that you can't revolve those 2 guys around, or you can even put them out there if PS2 ever needs a breather per se, or if the Broncos are up big and the second stringers go out there and just to go out there and finish the game. But the amount of experience that Barron is going to get in those just in the month of September, Libre, is going to be just incredibly amazing. I cannot wait to see which team is going to be the first one to give him his first interception. And might I say, I hope it's a pick 6, Libre. I really do, because a pick 6 for Jahdae Barron being his first interception and taking it back for points is really going to be very, very incredible. And Shai Vargas here with the counterpoint, Libre, saying Riley Moss got burned last year. We can't hear you, Libre. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. AV issues are part of any show.
How about now?
Yeah, go ahead. Now we hear you.
Okay, perfect. That's so weird. All right, so Shai, I agree with you 100%, but you have to remember that when he got burnt, it was late in the season when he was coming back. You have to also think of it this way. When he did come back, you have that football rust. It's like you're not in football shape at that point, even though it's late in the season and you should already be in shape and all that, but he was coming off of injury. And guess what? He was coming back against the Bengals. You have Jamar Chase. You have T. Higgins. So that's part of it as well. Like, those guys are phenomenal wide receivers, and that's part of what happened. But now that he's had this time during the offseason to recover, to be able to come through now is going to be something different. Yes, he's a veteran right now. But again, if Jahdae comes in here and he just is playing lights out, he can take over the number 2 spot. But I do feel that with Riley Moss, he's a professional. He's going to come out here. He's going to play. I feel like he's going to be better than what he is, because you have to with this defense right now. If you're not, there's the door. They're going to ship you out real quick or demote you. You're going to be a backup or whatever. But this is what I love about this defense is now we have true depth with this team. And if we can plug and play, that's what's going to end up happening with this team itself. But I don't feel like this year that Riley Moss is going to get burnt like he did last year coming off of injury.
Shai, you make a very good counterpoint, and you're right. You're stating a fact. Riley Moss did get burned last year, but it was against Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. And even if he wasn't covering T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, I think, would have been worse. Unfortunately, it wasn't the best. It was really hard for Riley Moss to come back against that team. I think if Riley Moss would have came back the game before and kind of got his feet wet again, maybe he would have been a little bit more prepared for the Bengals. Okay. And again, taking nothing away from T. Higgins, but he went out there to do what he's being paid to do. And as much as Broncos Country might not want to hear it, that game alone solidified his stance on telling the Bengals, hey, pay me or trade me, or I'm going to go somewhere else. So Riley Moss is going to get his chance at redemption, okay, because the Bengals are coming to Denver this year, and they're coming early. So it's not going to be like before. And you better believe that every single Bengals fan is going to come back in with the narrative of, hey, it should have been us that should have been in the playoffs. You know, the Broncos were bounced out in the first round. The Bengals could have taken on, or challenged the Buffalo Bills a whole lot better. No, you weren't. You may have been able to match them toe-to-toe offensively, but it would have only taken one play because the Bengals defense last year was not very good. This year, they're even worse. So the Bengals offense has to literally put up like 50, 60 points every damn game, damn near, in order for them to have a chance to win. Because the way the Bengals defense is, it's bad enough where it could get the head coach in some hot water in terms of like, hey, you need to shape up or ship out type of thing.
You know when that's going to happen? Week 4, Monday night.
No, that's not going to happen.
Mile High Stadium.
It's not going to happen that early.
We're going to embarrass them.
No, I'm with you on that. The Bengals are definitely going to embarrass them, but I don't think it's going to be like, hey, it's only the 4th week of football. I don't think it's
that's the beginning of the end for him. That's what I'm going to say. That's probably going to be the beginning of it, where hopefully the Broncos D is going to be able to go in there and show their flaws that they currently have.
Well, I can see that. I can agree to that. Just for the simple fact that for the last 3 or 4 years since Joe Burrow came to Cincinnati, the Bengals have started like 0-3, 0-4 last year. So it's almost like tradition at this point, Libre. And when I tell you again, and you guys have heard me say it on this program once or twice before, and I'll say it again, the Broncos have that date on their calendar circled. And I can guarantee you that this time will not be like the last time where it was a shootout and it was a nail biter and it went into overtime. No, that's not going to happen this time around. The Broncos defense is going to be more prepared. They're playing at home, and you guys know that when the Broncos play at home, they play a whole lot harder. They play a whole lot tougher. And
it's because they're playing for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the stands.
for Bronco Libre with a pretzel in one hand and nachos in the other,
Oh no, cerveza, Modelo time. Come on, Modelo.
Sponsor Libre.
Sponsor the network. Let's go.
No, I need you, Libre, to tell them to make the Modelos $5. Add it to the $5 menu that they already have.
You know what? That would be the best-selling product. That's the thing is like, when you're at any event, because I was just recently at the Metallica concert here a couple of weeks ago, and like you see like almost every other person drinking the Modelo there, and I was going to go back and get a second one, but because people were drinking so much of it, the beer was warm, and I was like, man, I can't do this. Like I can't. So I had to end up going with the Coors Banquet.
Another comment here for us, Libre, saying, I'm just happy that the vets aren't holding out for a contract and causing distractions.
I agree with you 100% on that, D-Rock. But you have to also feel like this is what's going to be happening with this team. Look at what happened during the offseason. The Denver Broncos is a team that players want to come over and play for. So when you have that and you have players that are taking less money, where they could have re-signed with their current teams, or if they could have gone somewhere else for a lot more money, you can already tell that when you have players that are doing that, that team is special already. They want to go out there and play for that team, and this is a team that that is on the brink of getting into that Super Bowl and their championship caliber team itself. And you just see that already, like with the Broncos where they're at, and players see that, they recognize that, and they want to they chase the ring. That's what they're going for. They're chasing that championship ring so that they can say, yes, I'm a champion. And the Bronco organization is now that team again. And you already see that here. People taking less money to come here and play because they want to say, I want to be part of that. I see that team is special. And that makes the excitement. The team, like just seeing the fans around, especially I was just outside today during lunch today in downtown Denver. And the people that are already wearing Broncos jerseys, gear, hats, like is so much more right now. Just seeing the anticipation for this upcoming season, for the last, up until last year, you didn't see that because people were like, oh, okay, the Broncos, here we go again. It's just that's how it was. But just seeing that within the city itself, the fans are also backing it up and so forth. That's already the excitement as well. So I'm super excited to see this, that the vets are also looking at it as well. It's like, hey, I'm not going to be fighting for more money. Let's take a team discount and let's get in there and let's go out there and win that championship.
You mean to tell me I'm not the only person walking around in Broncos gear, Libre? Is that what you're
Oh
telling
no,
me?
like, you know what's funny? It's like my whole wardrobe is orange and blue. Like you can't see me without any of those colors at any given time. People like even say, "Do you even own anything else besides orange and blue?" I go, "Nope, that's all that I have." So yeah, it's you're not the only one. Maybe in Chicago, you're probably
I
the only one wearing
wish
Bronco stuff.
I wish I could pick out my uniform. The only Broncos thing I'm allowed to wear is this bracelet that I've had for years and my little pin here that I put on my work shirt every single day. I have two, but this is the lighter one. The other one's kind of heavy.
So I have this that's around my neck.
Cool.
Little football helmet with the Broncos logo.
Yeah. It's very hard to find a necklace in my size, Libre.
That's when you get it custom ordered. Like this, I just said this is the part that I have, and then I bought this chain separately.
No, but D-Rock does have a point, and that's the fact that the veterans are not a distraction, at least not yet, because I have I have a feeling that maybe not during the season, but that conversation is going to be had, Libre, especially if the Broncos are not able to secure a championship, or even if they do, because we already know that everybody becomes a whole lot more expensive to keep after a team wins the Super Bowl, rightfully so. However, when you look at the changes that the Broncos have implemented over the last 2-3 years, with new ownership, no more having to worry about, the Bolins slowly losing control over the team after Pat, unfortunately, his health deteriorated and, he passed away. And nobody else in that Bolin family really wanted to accept responsibility because they were all fighting for control, And so they finally sell. The Waltons and, Condoleezza Rice and Lewis Hamilton and whoever else, I don't remember, they all put their pennies together and buy the team. They go out and get Sean Payton. You can make the argument that their first biggest mistake was giving Russell Wilson a big ass contract without seeing what he can do on the field in 2022. Totally understandable.
But that was before the owners took over. That was the previous group. That was Elway, Joe Ellis, and all that. So
I know, but me personally, I think that they had to have given George Payton a blank check to say, hey, make Russell Wilson happy here. Give him an extension. I don't think that was just George Payton saying, here, sign this, or we're going to give you. That had to have come from the uppers. Okay. Agreed. I don't have any proof of it. That's just speculation on my behalf. But they went out and they got Sean Payton. They bring him in. They tried to make him and the whole Russell Wilson thing work. That doesn't work out, unfortunately. So he gets pushed out. And then they bring in Bo Nix. And again, the season that Bo Nix, the offseason, I should say, that Bo Nix had last year, which couldn't have been easy because everybody was down on him. Everybody was down on the Broncos, saying they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. And then they just went around and did everything opposite of that. And believe me when I say this to you, Libre, before the season starts, the Broncos are going to be a lot of people's dark horse team. Like that team that's not going to be the one that sneaks in, but they're going to run the freaking table.
No, I agree. You have to remember, like, even with last year, they're like how we were just talking about Bo. They talked about him being the worst quarterback of the 6 that got drafted, and especially being at number 12. There's videos. Go out there on YouTube. You could see about Bo Nix. The Broncos made the worst decision, blah, blah, blah. Bo Nix is not going to do anything. Vegas had the Broncos winning 5.5 games last year. There's people that are saying this team is not that good. They're not going to win more than 2 or 3 games this upcoming season. It was marked down that people had that written down and all that. But what I loved what the Broncos were able to do, and this has come especially from Sean Payton, that he was able to go in there and get this team to win more than 10 games last year. And with the talent that we had, with the player, with the positions that we had, and go out there and do what they did was special. Now we have players that are in here that excel at these different positions that we were missing. We were missing a tight end that's going to be out there. Evan Ingram is now here. We're missing a running back. We have J.K. Dobbins. We have R.J. Harvey now. So getting these guys in here to show that Bo now has a supporting staff. Watch out. Bo is going to do some special stuff this year now that he has true weapons, especially on this offensive side. And then with us, like I talked about earlier, with us being able to solidify our defense to even being better than what it was last year. And like I already said this now, I've called it before, that I believe that this defense, the 2025 defense, is so much better than that defense of the 2015 season. I've said it. I'm calling it again. It's another hot take. Mark it down.
Shy Vargas coming in, Libre, saying, I got a Bo Nix navy blue jersey.
Yes, sir. Let's go. I like it.
Now, I will say that the only jersey I own is a custom jersey. Unfortunately, I cannot wear any of the other sizes that they have because they're not big enough. And I can't get one that's custom made that says Elway on it because they won't allow me to. That's a true story. They will not allow me. They didn't allow me when I was shopping for one to get one in my size that said Elway on it. It could have said anything else, but not Elway and certain other players, like big name players, because I think they thought that I was trying to scam them. I don't know what the deal is, but they wouldn't let me do it. So I had to go out and get one with my nickname on it on the back. But I do have a Russell Wilson jersey that Mario Vitanzi gave me when I won a raffle on his podcast, and I have it. It's put away. I never, unfortunately, it doesn't fit me because it's only like an XL or a 2XL or something like that. So I could never wear it. But I'm gonna hang it up in my room, put it on a frame or something, because as much as people want to give Russell Wilson crap for what he did and what he didn't do and all that stuff, which is totally fair, he did play for the Broncos. Okay, so did Joe Flacco, so did Trevor Siemian, so did Paxton Lynch, so did Peyton Manning, all those guys. All right, and then Libre will tell you, I'm pretty sure he, out of all people that goes to more home games than maybe anybody on this channel, he's seen all of those names on the back of jerseys.
And yes, I have. And I'll go like forever. Like I'll buy jerseys here and there, but I'm not a true like jersey person. Not like I was before. But again, like I've always said this, and we talk about players switching teams and all that. But I've always said I'm always rooting for the name that's not on the back of the jersey, but I'm always rooting for the name that's right here on the front of the jersey. That's my big advocate of it. I've had some people ask me if they wanted me to make me a custom jersey. I go, if you're willing to do that, go ahead and make me one. I haven't seen it yet. Been 2 years, especially from the same guy. I'll talk to him again this upcoming game here on the Titans. I said, oh, you have my jersey yet?
Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, Libre and I are getting ready because it is the end of regulation, which means we are ready for some overtime.
To
now,
training camp itself.
For those of you that are new to this segment, this is just basically where Libre and I let our hair down figuratively. We're going to talk about whatever's on our mind, whatever's going on. It's more than likely not going to be Broncos related, so we hope you enjoy and can stick around and share your ideas or thoughts. If there's a way we can find to bring it back to Broncos content, we will, but it's not guaranteed. So first of all, I'd just like to say thanks to everybody, all our listeners out there that have messaged me and said that they actually enjoy this part of the show. And the thing that I really like about this is I listen to a lot of podcasts, like all the big ones, and I'm pretty sure Libre listens to them too when he's out jogging, like me.
Why you make me laugh?
You know, and they're all unique in their own way, and that's great, especially like the more popular ones. But what they don't have is they don't have this. They don't have a moment where we can kind of sit back and talk about what's going on in the world, what we feel about a certain something. And that to me makes things more unique. And that's what I love about this show. Now, I will admit I have been lacking on the Ask a Fan segment, but I'm really trying to get other people to come on this show. I know my friend Eric was great. We loved him having him here, but there's only so many questions I can ask a Bears fan,
Right.
So, I promise you guys, we're trying. We may put it on the back burner and when the season kicks off, and then revisit the topic next off season. Or
you know what we could try to do is if we can try to get a fan from the team that we're playing.
Yeah, that was going to be my next my next thing. But I'm already trying to reach out to other non-playing fans. So and I've gotten a bunch of no's and certain people that they're fans of their team, but they don't want to come on the show because they're shy or whatever. So they have their reasons and it's understandable. But I just wanted to give you guys that little update and let you guys know that I really appreciate this segment with Libre, because usually after we log off, I try not to keep Libre on too long because that man's got to go eat. I already ate, so I'm good.
I know yo quiero tacos.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that steak is still in Libre's oven, and that smell gets to him eventually.
Just a little bit. Ya tengo hambre. I'm hungry.
Un poquito.
Un poquito.
Just a little bit.
Just a little. Poquito. Despacito. I have to stop because we'll get cut off.
What is it, demonetized?
Demonetized, yeah.
I don't know if demonetized is the right word, because technically we don't make money off of this show.
That's true. Not yet. But if you guys keep on sharing it, please keep on sharing it, because we eventually do want to get paid for this so that we can give you more and more stuff here with the Orange and Blue Network.
Well, one of the stories I wanted to share with you guys is from a passenger I had last Friday, an Uber passenger. So I picked this guy up. He landed at Midway Airport. I don't know if you know where that is, Libre, in Chicago.
I flew into Midway.
Okay, so you know where it is. So I picked him up, and ironically, he lives in the exact same neighborhood I do. He literally lives like 2-3 miles from me. So I was like, great, I could, stop home and, grab a bite, play with my dog for a little bit and before I go back out again, kind of like a lunch break per se. So we're driving and we're having a conversation, and he tells me that, I think he said he's retired. He used to work in construction, but he's a man of the Lord, a man of God, goes to church, all that good stuff. He's a Christian. So he starts telling me this story about how before he left his car at a body shop. So the body shop was doing work on his car. There was a problem with his brakes. So he said, hey, listen, I'm heading out of town. I'm leaving my car with you. Can you just please fix my brakes? Leave the car somewhere there until he gets back, and he's going to pick it up. So he leaves. I think he said he went to New Orleans for the weekend, and he called the mechanic like a day later, and the mechanic said, hey, there's a problem with your alternator and your battery. And my passenger was like, well, what does that have to do with my brakes? I only brakes. Like, why? So the whole thing ended up being where the guy said, if you don't fix your alternator and your battery, your brakes, they're not going to do anything. It's not going to mean a damn thing. So the guy says, the mechanic said, charges him $900 to fix the battery, the alternator, but he didn't touch the brakes. So, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, but if he didn't fix what you initially told, like I would have called somebody, say, hey, go get my car, just go get it, or have it somewhere else. Like I'm not paying you $900 to do a job that's not you didn't need to. Now, if it would have been the opposite, like, okay, hey man, I fixed your brakes, but hey, by the way, I saw A, B, and C. You should fix that. It'll cost you this. That's a different story. But the man went ahead, or the mechanic just went ahead and did something else. And and then the guy sent his son to go get the car because the mechanic told him that the brakes were fine. It was not an issue. And he said his son, when the son was driving it home, that it started like the brake pedal kind of went straight, damn near straight to the ground. It didn't brake right. And so his son ended up taking it back to the mechanic and said, hey, you said you fixed this. You didn't do it. You got to fix it. You know, so and then fast forward into the Uber ride there, and I was taking him to the garage to go supposedly pick up his car. So he basically asked me for my opinion, and I told him, I'm like, dude, I would have had my car towed out of there, like towed, pushed, you know, rolled, whatever. Like I wouldn't have let no mechanic fix my car. I'm like, that's some shady stuff. And when he called the mechanic told him like, oh, like your car's still not ready. I haven't even started on it yet. And my Uber passenger started, like the Christian just went out the door. You know, he's like, how can you not have finished it? It's been sitting in your lot for 4 freaking days. You know, like I need my car. And the guy's like, hey, listen, I'll have it for you by the end of the day. Woo woo. And as we were getting closer, my pastor was like, hey man, like you mind coming in with me and scaring this guy? Because I was a big guy. And I'm like, hey man, listen, I'm just an Uber driver. I'm not here to scare no damn body. But
where's that TIP? I need that little TIP.
So I'm like, but listen, here's what I'll do. All I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get out of my car and just stretch. That's all I'm gonna do. And then you can point at me, you can tell him whatever you want, and we'll leave it at that. But I won't say nothing to the mechanic. He's like, okay, cool. So we pull up to the shop. My passenger gets out, finds the mechanic. He brings him where I'm visible, and he points at me, and I'm just standing there with my arms like this. and I can hear the guy tell him in like his broken English, like, oh no, si senor, give me 2-3 hours. I have a car ready, you know, like the most broken English I've ever heard outside of my parents. And it was just funny, you know. And then my passenger was like, hey man, listen, I don't know how to add a trip so you can take me home, because obviously my car's not ready, won't be ready. So I'm like, listen, I turned off the app, and I'm like, just give me what you can and I'll take you home. And he did. He tipped me like $15-20. So I was like, man,
that's nuts.
That's nuts.
Well, for me, like mechanics are shady ass people, no matter what you deal with. Like if you don't have somebody that you can trust as a mechanic, and if you just go to some random person to try to check out your car, they're going to upsell you with everything, which sounds like what happened to this guy. You know, it sucks that it's La Raza that's doing it, but again, it's like, it's everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's Raza or not. It's going to happen anywhere, no matter who they are. They're going to try to take advantage of anybody that they can, and saying like, oh yeah, your alternator's bad, this and that, and never fix the original problem you took the car in, just like in this case, which is, it's sad to see that people are doing that just to try to get that extra buck or two for their own selves. But again, if there's going to be a point where karma's always going to come back to those people. I always think of that as well, talking about how him being a Christian and doing all that. Karma always comes back to find that person. So yeah, they might have taken advantage of you at that time, but guess what? It's going to happen to them later on. You know, too bad. Like you want to see it happen, but 9 times out of 10, you're not seeing that at all. So, but yeah, that just sucks. Hopefully he got that taken care of, and the guy didn't charge him anything extra and whatnot.
I mean, the funny thing is, Libre, I pass that garage every single day I drive to work. So
that's crazy.
I just never bothered to actually pull in. That was my first time ever pulling in there in like 12, 13 years. I've been driving down that road. But I'll share another story with you. When I went to Texas for the first time in 2014. I have a really old ass Ford Expedition. Johnny probably seen it when he came to visit me last year. But I've had that truck since 2008. I bought it during the recession because it was cheap. And I'd never driven it. I've never driven any of my cars farther than, work or maybe Wisconsin would probably be the longest trip. So I had a mechanic take a look at it before we left, to make sure everything was good. And he told me, he's like, everything's good. Your oil's good, fluids are good, tires, all that stuff. He's like, but I have to tell you, you have to be careful with used cars and then how you drive them, because some of the, even though everything looks good, like if they're not used to that type of wear and tear for that continuous, like, stuff can happen. He says he sees it a lot with used cars, like the rented cars you get from like Enterprise and stuff. So I was like, hey, listen, man, like, I think we should be good. We'll be fine. No problem. And so we start driving, Libre. And I don't know if you've ever been to Texas, but when we got past Oklahoma into Texas, like the heat, Jesus Christ, I had never felt heat like that in my life. It's not like what we have here in Chicago. It's not humidity. It's just effing hot. So,
well, you have to remember in Texas as well, though, it is part of it is the hotness of it, just because of it's just like a lot of parts is just desert as well.
mm-hmm.
But that humidity there as well, the combination of both of those are terrible, especially down if you're in Houston.
Yeah, so like we had the windows up, we have like, man, we got AC, we'll be fine. We hit some traffic on the freeway. And then all of a sudden it's like my car heard me, and it's like the compressor just went out. And we're just like, what the hell was that? And then the cold air obviously stopped coming through, and we're sitting there, and it's like, and I'm just like smacking the damn vent, and I'm like, oh man, the compressor went out. We don't have any air, so and then I thought back about what the mechanic told me. It takes like 16 and a half hours from Chicago to Fort Worth, Texas, because that's where my aunt lives. So it's 16 and a half hours. And we drove that damn near continuously. We did make stops, obviously, to stretch and buy stuff and use the bathroom and all that. But so it was like crazy. And then we get to my uncle's house. And I told my uncle, I said, hey, listen, I don't know if you know anybody here, but, my compressor went out. Maybe I can have a mechanic that you know and trust, take a look at it just to make sure everything's okay for the trip back. And he's like, yeah. And in obvious Mexican fashion, he's like, I have this guy. And he pulls out his phone. And on the phone, I kid you not, it said Don Tambo. So for those that may not know, the word tambo means like a barrel, which means big.
Yep.
And in Mexican custom, tradition, I should say, it's very, very customary to give somebody a nickname from something about them. It could be good, it could be bad. When I was a kid, my parents used to call me, or people around me used to call me bombolas, because my eyes were big. I had big old eyes. My brother, they call him pollo, because when he was born, a baby, he looked like a little chicken. So nicknames like that, just once you get them, they're stuck with you for life. If you're Latino, you know what I'm talking about. So we go and we pull up to this guy, and he doesn't even have a shop. He just does like car work off his alley. And it's this really chubby guy, chubbier than me. And he's like, well, what's the problem? And I'm like, oh, well, listen, my compressor went out while we were on the freeway. Could you just, check it out to see what it is? And he's like, are you sure it's the compressor? And I'm like, well, there's no cold air coming out. So, what else could it be? And I kid you not, Libre, he took a piece of hose, put one into his ear, stuck it in the engine. And he's like, yeah, you have a pulley out. And I'm just like,
what?
He was able to tell all that just by listening to it through a freaking garden hose. And he was right. That's the thing. And then when he took out the compressor, he showed it to us, and he's like, "Well, listen, your compressor is shot. Like, there's no fixing this." He's like, "You have to either replace it, or you could deal with it when you get back to Chicago." He's like, "You have one of your pulleys is out, which is the one that runs the compressor." He's like, "I can fix that, and then just to make sure that the serpentine belt runs fine, and then when you get back to home to Chicago, then you can figure out what you want to do with the compressor, or whatever." And I don't know what happened. Libre just disappeared. Full size me is scary, but I don't know what was going on. So I just basically told him, I said, "Listen, just do what you can. Can you please just get me home?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll fix the pulley for him." So I forgot how much I paid him just to fix the pulley. Didn't fix the compressor, so we had to drive back home in the hotness of Texas. And then in Oklahoma, we hit some really bad rain, so we had to have the windows up, and it was just crazy. Libre, are you good, man?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, that was strange. I don't know what happened. It just disappeared, just like our intro. I just went away.
It's Johnny Baki.
I knew it. See, I told you. Baki.
From beyond the couch. You know what the crazy thing about that segment is? Those segments are so stupid. I know, but they're funny. I'm always under the impression that Johnny never watches our show. And then I'll get a text at night or in the morning from Johnny, like the last one I did where I revealed his middle name. And then he texts me, he's like, "My middle name is," I forgot what he said. But it took me a whole minute to comprehend what the hell he was talking about. Why
is he saying his middle name?
Oh, the segment.
That's hilarious.
Oh, when I tell you I love Johnny Baki, I love Johnny Baki, and the fact that he probably gets a kick, because I forget that he always goes back and he uploads the highlights and the clips and stuff. I think you still do that, Libre. But I know Johnny does it too. But I just figure that Johnny's too busy, dealing with his kids and the other shows and being with his wife, that he doesn't get around to watching our show. But then he ends up, and then when he sends me a message like that, I'm telling you, it is the funniest freaking thing.
That's hilarious.
But to finish my story, Libre. So the mechanic, Don Tambo, he just fixes the pulley. We drive the car back to Chicago. The next day when I took it to my job, it just stalls out in my parking lot. Couldn't turn the key, nothing. So I had to have it towed to a garage, and the mechanic was like, half the engine got tied up or whatever. Cost me $1,000 to fix.
That's nuts.
So
a good thing that it was just 1,000, because engine work can be thousands and thousands of dollars. So I think with it just being $1,000, that got lucky, and you happen to find an honest mechanic as well. So that's just right there in general, being able to be identified, especially there in Texas, and all right, this is going to be an issue. Now you back here in at home, and you got another good mechanic that's not going to take advantage of you like your Uber rider did. But very fortunate. That sounds like a very the stars were aligned for you for that. So that's pretty cool.
I got to tell you though, Libre, when I was in Denver and I rented that hybrid Toyota Camry, I wanted to take that thing and just drive it back home. That thing was a dream, bro. It was half Tesla, half car,
Oh yeah, all the computer stuff in it, and because what did it run off of gasoline and the battery as well?
Yeah, when they're hybrids, they're half gas and half electric.
Okay.
So the only time I ever heard the engine was when I turned it on in the morning when we were leaving our hotel room to go get breakfast or whatever.
That's crazy.
And then the rest of the time, you didn't hear a damn thing. You didn't even know the car was on. No shake up, no crank, no nothing. Just push the button and go.
That's nuts.
That's the only thing luxury about electric cars I like, Libre, because I've been in my friend's Tesla. But I don't know, man. For me to just sit here and tell you, hey, I'm going to go drop what's a Tesla cost? Like $60,000-$70,000?
Yeah, and again, even when Teslas first came out, I didn't like them. I still don't like them. And then all the stuff with Elon and all that, it's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to support him. I'm not going to give him any of my money at all. And then where I was actually doing a thing as well, it's like if I wanted to take a trip down to like New Mexico or do like a little road trip, and like I know that they have it where you have to stop and then you have to charge them up for an hour or so just so that you can get to your next destination. So if I wanted to take, say, an 8-hour or 6-hour drive down to New Mexico or something, it's going to take me anywhere from 8 to 10 hours because you have to make all these different stops and charge up the car. So that's part of why I don't like Teslas, is because of that. And I've seen YouTube videos as well, like these guys that are out doing road trips as well and trying to get out there to the middle of nowhere, and then they have to at least drive an additional like 3 hours just to get to a charging point. But even at that point, they don't know if their car is going to stay charged up until that point. So that's part of why I don't want an electric car, is because of that. Because it's not something that is not saving you money. It's costing you time, and again, time is money. The way, like, I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to enjoy myself. If I'm going to go on vacation, I want to get to the spot where I want to go right as soon as I can, so I can enjoy while I'm there, not lose all this extra time. And that's part why I will not get an electric car.
I mean, the only reason I wouldn't get one, Libre, is because when Chicago gets cold and we get colder than you guys, there's parking lots of dead Tesla batteries that have to sit there until a body shop can get them in, because not every single body shop in Chicago has that special machine to fully charge a dead Tesla battery, so that's the only thing keeping me. We don't have a garage here. So we don't even have a driveway in my house, unfortunately, because our backyard is connected with our neighbors from the block over, Gotcha. So it's like your yards are connected one block, then the next yard has an alley, then the next one doesn't, and it does. I don't know why the hell they planned it like that. That's just how it is.
Chicago.
So I don't have anywhere warm in the wintertime to keep that from happening. So hybrid, I'll do a hybrid, because a hybrid, even if the electric side is struggling, the gas side will, take over. And if I knew that Ford Escape had a hybrid version before I bought that one, I would have gotten the hybrid.
Escape.
Oh my God. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for our overtime segment today. When I say we, I mean Libre and Johnny Baki, who's probably behind the scenes somewhere where we can't see him, screwing around with our settings. Would like to thank all the people that were here live with us today. Shai Vargas, D-Rock, Fanatic Dak, of course. All our friends watching us on the Broncos World Order. Thank you guys so much for being here. We hope you enjoyed the content and that you will continue to support and watch us every single Wednesday in English and Friday in Spanish. Also, we would like to thank our TikTok audience, if there's anybody still here.
No, I still have somebody as well. So Lancelot Broncos, Sandy.
Yeah.
I had another person. Where are they at? Let's see.
I have people that were in my chat too, Libre, but they're waiting for the next live to start, because I started streaming Animal Crossing.
I did see that.
So they want the comfort. Believe it or not, I've been told that supposedly I have an ASMR voice. I don't hear it, but it's comforting. So why not?
It's because you're talking like this. We're just getting on the boat. We're going to go over here now. I can't wait.
Broncos Talk After Dark.
We might have to do that.
I think that's a conversation to be had with Johnny Baki.
We can just go ahead and do it without him. So Broncos Talk. We know we got this. PS2 is going to be.
Oh man, Johnny's gonna fire us, bro.
That's hilarious, though.
But ladies and gentlemen, we would like to ask you for your support for us here on the Orange and Blue Network when we're not acting all goofy. Please subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network. Also to our sister station, MHRT Network, which we're being simulcast on. Please subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all of their shows as well. Audio listeners, please make sure you give us a 5-star reviews. Are appreciated. If you want to take a screenshot, you can send it to Libre and us, and we will share your shots live here on the air. Our Twitter handles are right there at the bottom. Mine is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. Shout out to Dubby for being a continued sponsor of this and all the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network. If you use the code NRWOB10, you'll get 10% off on your next purchase at checkout. Again, that code is NRWOB10 for your 10% off at checkout. Shout out to Dubby and the crew over at Nothing Rhymes With for the hookup. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you hit that live notification button so you never miss a single episode or show whenever we go live. We will be back on Friday for Viva los Broncos. Again, ladies and gentlemen, that is an all Spanish podcast. So please be aware if you see Libre and I talking in a different language and we sound like aliens to those that don't speak English.
Well, that's because the SAP button is stuck, and try to figure that out in the settings. Just saying.
Pretty much. And once again, we want to give one final shout out to Broncos World Order. Thank you guys so much for being here. And we cannot wait to continue to provide you guys with all the funny stuff that you see us do and all the important stuff that you hear us do about our favorite team, the Denver Broncos. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, thank you guys for joining us. We will be back in next Wednesday at the same bat time, same bat channel for my older crowd out there that knows about that. So, with that being said, he's Bronco Libre. I've been Adan Diaz, and this has been Broncos Talk on the Orange and Blue and MHRT Network. So, with that, we say good night, everybody. And as always, go Broncos! I said it better than Libre.
That's okay.
I'm cooler than Libre.
Let's go.